My computer.
It could be we'll split up one on one side and have the radio.
Yeah.
And I am so computer illiterate.
And go, but we may just stay together because you can shoot from Willow Creek one side to the other.
Yeah. Well, good luck to both of you. And I know, Herman, you'll get more joy out of seeing Mark shoot one than you will yourself.
That'd be a thrill.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about splitting up. He might try to lose me out there in the middle of the wilderness.
He's got camp marked so he can get back.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah, he might just test my ability to get back with the GPS. He'll leave me out in the wilderness and say, "You're on your own."
Well, let me tell you, if he gets you down there and he says, "Hey, we're going to hunt some snipe," don't. If he says, "Hold this GPS and we're going to hunt some snipe," don't do it. We videotape you, buddy. You got absolutely. You're right. It did break. Sorry.
What was the question?
The question is who's your hunting partner in the morning and where are we going?
My hunting partner is Pat Wiley, and we're going to the woods. That way.
Known as Coal Creek, he said.
Coal Creek.
Coal Creek.
It's deep down in a canyon.
Yep.
There's a nice trail though that.
Go.
Should
We didn't mean to get that on tape.
What is that? Is that supposed to be a hen?
That's just an elk bull screaming.
Okay. Yeah, we've never hunted it before, but we scouted it this afternoon. Trail boss took us down there. Looks like it has promise. Supposedly last week a guy killed one 10 minutes into the hunt over there. 5x5, I think it was. So we'll settle for a cow. I don't care how big or small it is.
So you ought to be done in about 8 minutes.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
Take
8 minutes will be fine. Then the pressure's off, and then I can be, Steven Spielberg the rest of the week, with my production, my film production. So
nice.
Looking forward to it. Great bunch of guys. Been looking forward to this for a long time, and I hope we go 8 for 8.
Nice, I agree.
Nice. Got one. That little one slips out so easy, so I'm afraid to wear it on. Got the gut hook.
I've got the gut hook on that buck.
But I'm going to try get it to meet off.
All right, this is Dick's tent. I'm not sure what that tent's for. I don't think he brought his wife. But Dick and Steve are sleeping in here. So let's see what this looks like. There we go. Yeah, they got all kinds of room. This looks like, this is Steve's side. He's sleeping on one of Herman's army cots. There's a new frame pack that he purchased. And over here's Dick's side. There we go. They've got a good heat source. So it looks like they're going to stay warm. And looks like 3 gun cases back there. So it looks like they got plenty of ammunition, plenty of firepower. Alright, here's Herman's tent. Nice tent. Herman and Jim going to be staying in this. Let's see what we got in here. Alrighty. Look how nice and neat this side is. I am not sure whose that side is, but I'm going to guess that's Herman over there. Looking a little untidy over there. I hope I'm right on that. And then I'm guessing this is Jim. Nice and neat. Well, not a crease in that sleeping bag. So these guys are going to stay warm with that. So it's been really cold out here, down in the low 20s at night. So looks like everybody's got a way to stay warm. I guess yesterday Herman and some of the guys went down to the cow camp and checked out Big Johnson and Little Johnson and barely made it back out. Look at the mud on that thing. Whew! It is going to need a bath. He said they almost didn't make it out, but due to his exceptional driving ability, they did, and we're happy about that. This is Pat's beast. He said he washed it before he came to Ohio to pick me up, but boy, you couldn't tell now. Anyways, this is what Pat and I rode together in coming out here, and it did a fine job.
Talk to me, buddy.
How's my hair look?
Oh man, you look great.
I'm tired.
Are you?
It's the first morning. We went down into Coal Creek Canyon. Pretty much walked that whole area out down there, and then we met up. We separated, and we met up probably around 11:30, 11:45, and ate lunch. I had MRE for the first time, thanks to Amanda. Chili and beans, cold chili and beans.
Nice.
Actually pretty good. And then we took a snooze in the sun for probably an hour. And now we're just trying to figure out what we're going to do now that we've climbed back up. We've had to strip down. It's probably about 40, 45 degrees, but when you're walking up the hill carrying, I don't know, how many pounds do you think you're carrying?
30.
30? He's carrying 30, I'm probably carrying 25 at the most. But the altitude gets to you.
Ooh, it does.
This is only we've been here a little over 24 hours, so our bodies are still adjusting. But anyways, we gave it our best this morning. We're hoping the guys had some luck. And we'll hope to find that out here pretty soon. We'll get on the radio and see if we can raise them. But fun morning. Had a good time.
Let's take a look here where we went. So to zoom in to the meadow, so that meadow you're looking at is about 800 yards away, and we sat above it looking down at it and the rest of this plateau, and then I went to the meadow and walked all the way to these pines, and then came down overlooking that big canyon there. We call that mountain right there Little Tent. Yeah. And I was up to it, and then Trig went down and walked along the edge of this, which this doesn't do it justice because you can't see how steep this is, but he went way down in here, and then he made his way all the way. Gotta find your rock. Is that it?
Yeah, you're pretty close.
To this rock down in here, and then all the way back up in here, and then he had to come back this direction to meet up with me. So we covered enough ground.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, over and out.
Over and out.
Here we are at Campbell Lake. So this is 8,672 feet in elevation. This is the lake. It's way down. You can see where the water usually goes up to those rocks over there. And this had a lot more water in it last year. And obviously water's a little scarce up here, even though they had 8 inches of snow the other day. But here's a free-range bull that's just come in for a drink. Now he's headed back out. So, beautiful country, beautiful country.
All right, I'm watching Mark Hughes trying to wrestle his old cow up there. Mark, tell us all about her.
Well, it's Saturday. It's October the 19th, Saturday opening day. And it's about noon, I believe. Herman took me all over the country this morning. We went, I think we covered 5 miles. He wore me out this morning. We were out sitting on a...
5 miles would be a conservative. We probably covered a lot more than that.
Probably 10 miles or so.
Well, probably about 8.
5, 10. All I know is he took me up and down and through gullies, and we rested on a place where we saw 6 elk on Friday or on Thursday, and then we got a radio call earlier this morning, and some elk were passing through, and we couldn't get over to the knoll fast enough, and they crossed in front of us. So we decided to move into the same area, and we were sitting there. All of a sudden they came up over the top, and we glassed them, and then we took off running down the side of the hill and got a position, and she stepped out from the other side, and I made the shot.
What'd you use?
I got a Browning 30-06 A-bolt, and so I rested on a tree, took my first shot, and it clicked. It didn't fire. So Daryl's gonna love this. Daryl Ashby, he always calls me two-shot, because I always get him on my second shot, which seems to be true for today as well. So I racked another shell and took the shot, and
Were those store-bought or reloads?
well, store-bought.
Okay, but it didn't fire.
It didn't fire.
No, I heard you click.
Yeah, so I had a misfire on it, so I had to eject it and load another one in and made the shot, and I barely got. She was about to step behind a pine tree.
How far did we have to run down the trail before you could shoot?
About 100 yards, I think.
You had to stop and rest one time.
I was huffing and puffing. I stopped halfway, then Herman said, "Get going." So I made the rest, and I stopped, and I had to, for about 15 seconds, I had to catch my breath and wait for him to come across. So.
All right, show us where you hit her.
So I was aiming for the shoulder, and I hit her in the neck. So I hit her about right here.
She's a old cow. She's getting a mane on her, hanging down. So we're going to start packing her up.
So I understand the first person in gets to donate a back strap. So I guess I'm the lucky one for this hunting trip.
Not the whole back strap. Everybody gets one. Okay, let me.
All right, here we go. We got Mark shot the elk this morning, but Herman's doing all the work, it looks like.
Yeah, you know, we got shade all around us. He shot it right in the open area in the sun, and we're doing it on the hillside because there's a stream down there. There's a flat part before you get to the stream, but we're afraid to roll it down. It'd roll right on in the stream, and we'd have a mess like we had last year then. But Mark shot a beautiful, beautiful cow here, big one, big one. She was one that I saw way up on there, and that's whenever I told you, boy, there's a big cow in that group. And this was her. Okay, he did a good job. Running her now, and we've got a ham off, and so we get this done, then we got to pack it out. Okay. Mark Hughes and I are sitting up here at the maybe 500 yards, 600 yards or a little further on UC Creek, about 600 yards from Deep Canyon, and we're looking about 30-something miles across, and that's the La Salle Mountains. Beautiful scenery. The sun's rising on up, showing them real good. The rocks. Some elk came by there yesterday, and down from that, at the edge of the pines, on over this way, they came down, and Mark killed one, probably right down in that area, right there yesterday. Ready?
We are recording.
All right, big old cow. I had gone up the hill because there was a bull bugling up there, and I thought maybe had some cows. So Mark stayed there, and he got on the radio. I was probably 100 yards up above him or more, and said there was a whole bunch come by. How many came by?
At least 10.
Okay,
10.
And so I started running back down, and I saw this one, and she was up in here. And I shot, and I must have missed her the first shot. And the second shot, I think I hit her back here. And the third shot, I saw it go over and kick up the dust. So I knew I was shooting too high. So I lowered it, got her right through the shoulder. And she slid, she rolled down, and probably the longest shot I've ever made. Just estimating, probably 400 yards at least.
So the shot was across the canyon. I don't know if you can see it from here, but there's a gap way across where some like an opening in the pines, and Herman was sitting in the scrubby oaks back behind those pine trees and made that shot. So that was that's well 300-400 yards at least. That's a pretty good shot. It's an amazing shot.
Big old cow. So Mark killed a big one yesterday, and this is another big one.
How did you get that big mark on your forehead?
This mark right here. First time my scope has tattooed me. But I was concentrating on the elk and not concentrating on keeping my eye relief there. So I was standing up leaning forward, and when it kicked back, I took the brunt of it.
Yep. Hey, you got to sacrifice. It's all about the hunt.
So we got to get this thing down the hill, and we're in scrubby oak, and that hangs her up everywhere. So I heard that we had some help coming.
So we also heard, and that we think Trigg, well, we know Trigg got one as well.
And Pat thinks he
and
got
Pat shot one as well. All of a sudden the rifles were booming when the herd came through.
Yeah,
so.
We wasted a lot of ammunition today. Thank you.
Congratulations, Herman. Good
Thank
job,
you.
man.
It's Sunday, second day of season, and we just took down 3 cows. Herman got one, Pat got one, and I got one. I killed mine in UC Creek, and here she is. You walk on down here. Of course, they always come to rest in the worst position, but here she is. She's a big girl. Big girl. Head's clear down in there. So now comes the work. Now comes the work.
Alright, hang on here a second. So as you can tell, Mr. Gleam has a big cow elk on the ground. So tell us about it, Vapor.
Let me see here. Can you see her?
Oh yeah.
It's Sunday, and I was working UC Creek with Pat, and almost to the, are we almost to the end of the creek?
We are. You weren't.
From where I'm at now, I'm not.
No. You got 300-400 yards.
Okay, so I got about 300 or 400 yards from the
Quarter mile.
end of the creek before it goes into the Long Canyon, and I started hearing some radio chatter. I think it was you, Mark.
Yep.
Saying that, hey, we got some elk, and it might be coming right at you. And I think you were talking to Herman, because you probably had no idea where I was.
No clue.
So, knowing where you guys were, I started huffing it. Well, I saw the hind end of one of them, because their hind ends are a little bit lighter than the rest of their bodies.
Mm-hmm.
And I like, oh my goodness. So I got on the radio and I told Pat, I said, Pat, stop, don't come any closer, because I was afraid you would spook them.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden Herman cut loose, and I heard, seemed like 20 shots, but you said it was 4.
4 and then 1 out of me.
Okay, so naturally as soon as he started shooting them, they started scattering a little bit, and I saw them, I was over there, and I saw them running up the hill, and I don't know how many there were, but there were a lot of them. And I was running, not safe obviously, but trying to get over some fallen trees and everything else, and I came up to rest leaning against a tree, standing, and this one right here was quartered away from me, just perfect shot. And as soon as I cut loose, she dropped and started rolling down the hill, and I had to finish her off with a couple more to keep her down, but she couldn't have rolled into a worse spot. So thankfully, with Pat and Mark here, we managed to get her out from wedged underneath this tree.
Yeah, she was under this tree.
So Herman killed his first. I killed mine. I'm guessing about 1:30, give or take, is when I shot her. And then Pat killed one, and then Steve and Dick both shot at him.
Yep. And Steve's is down, and I think they say Dick's is hit. So
all within 30 minutes.
Oh yeah, easy.
15 minutes.
Yeah, I'd say 15-20 minutes, and all went down.
Anyways, what a day. So
now the work begins.
Very happy.
Is it a record?
So Hingle McCringleberry, was it worth it?
It was worth it. It was worth it. So thanks for your help, guys. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Here's the man with the muscle.
Yeah. What's left of it?
All right. Hold that head up one time for me, will you?
Oh.
Nice. Can't even get both of you in at the same time. All right. Look at the camera and say later.
Later.
This is my carcass tag. We're going to have to leave them out tonight, just in case a bear gets a bag with my carcass tag on it. Game warden will see it. There's the meat that I got boned out. The old elk. We shot her up pretty good. Trig and Mark had to bring his way down off the hill. And there's the carcass.
Did they video you, Herman?
Left over. Mark did. That hit her through the shoulder, and you can see the hole that put to her. It was a through and through shot. She was hit 3 times. Another fella shot, hit her also, and it was a flesh wound, and then one through the kind of midsection.
So we came up here to make some phone calls this morning, Monday morning, so thought I'd just take a few video of my truck here. As you can tell, my truck's had a workout. We've had this thing buried up in mud, and Herman's had his buried up in mud. It's just quite a workout on these things up here, going out some of these mud holes. But here's my good buddy talking to his wife and telling her about our elk. And my wife should be calling me in just a minute. But you can see the snow on up here. So we're up here where you cut into Campbell's Point. Oh, I hear my wife calling.
Okay.
So finishing up the conversation, this is the cut into Campbell's Point. And as you can see, there's snow still laying on. This snow was here prior to us getting here, but when your temperatures are in the 20s each night and the wind blowing, it just doesn't leave. And you can see a camp way down here. I'll zoom in on it. So we drive by that camp and then go out about another mile out that road.
And then hunt down over that side, right?
Yep, and we're back over in there, exactly. And then you can see the LaSalle Mountains back there, all covered in snow. That's Utah, so it shows you how close we are over into Utah. But those are about 30 miles from here, is what Herman said. So, but here's the man of the hunt.
No.
Because this guy climbed the mountain. He went through the hard timber all morning. We had elk out in front. They kept bugling at us, and finally he caught up with them and was able to. He got a shot and got his, but he pushed them out on the rest of us, and that's when guns went to blazing. So we added up last night in 20.
It's almost embarrassing to say.
No, I'll let you do it. In 20 minutes, how many rounds did we let fly?
Over 20. 20.
36.
36.
36 rounds.
Okay, and I think 4 for me, 5 for you, 4 for Herman.
1 for Jim.
Dick and Steve were combined like 21.
10 and 11, yep. They emptied
So,
2 clips.
I hit mine all 4 times, but that stinking thing wouldn't die. Those things are just brutally tough.
Yes, they are.
My goodness, they're tough. But yeah, you can see by the way I'm dressed, my hunt's over. We had a great day of it yesterday. Just exhausted, all of us. We didn't get to bed until
It was midnight.
midnight.
Yeah.
And just to give you an example, the first night we got to bed at like 10 till 8.
Yeah.
But we were just so late getting back to camp last night, and then we had our worship service, and then we had to go back and retrieve Pat's truck, and then after that we had dinner like at 10:30.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yesterday was a full day, and then today's, you know, the day to retrieve all of them. Herman went over and talked to the Weimers this morning, and they're going to bring their horses over and go down the canyon. And Pat's the man today. He's going to go down into the canyon with them and just make sure they know exactly where all the meat's at. We don't think it's going to be hard, but we've got probably 20 bags of meat that they're going to have to bring out. Mark's meat's already out because he killed his first day, and the guys kind of all gathered together down there and helped carry that out. But the rest of us are just too pooped. So hopefully Jim and Bob have some luck. I know Herman's going to work hard to try to help them bag an elk for each one of them. So great trip so far. It's been a lot of fun.
Good deal. Good deal. Check it out. See ya. Good. All right, so Trig and I came up here to call our families this morning and let them know what has happened and how successful we've been with 6 out of 8 of us taking elk at this point, and we're just waiting on some horses to arrive so we can go retrieve them. But we're standing up here at the entrance to Campbell's Point, and it's chilly. I don't know what the temperature is out here, but don't let the bright sun fool you.
I think it's 40. I think it's 40.
So it's it gets cold at night up here.
Yeah.
And we've felt more cold up here than we've felt on any of the other hunts, I think. So, but we've had a great time, great bunch of guys. I couldn't ask for a better bunch of guys to come spend time with.
Tell me about your hunt yesterday.
Wow, you know, my buddy here really helped us out because we hiked in and started down this UC Canyon, and he decided to get up onto the face of one side, the south side that was in the shade, and try to push, you know, through there. And we kept having some elk bugling at us. We knew they were in there, but of course we're thinking probably 2 bulls or something. And finally, I had passed him up and was talking with Herman and Mark, and Trig said, "Man, I've got elk out in front of me bugling." So I climbed up on the same mountain he was on, and the next thing we know, Trig's like, "Don't move, I got elk." And that's when the cannon started erupting, and there was fire going everywhere, and some elk went by me. I never saw them. Well, I saw one at 75 yards, but they were chirping and barking, so I just started chasing them through the woods, and they went down into Long Canyon and up the other side before I could get to Long Canyon. And they were just barking and chirping. Every time I would chirp at them, they'd chirp back, and finally they stepped into some open aspens. The first one out was a 4x4 bull, and then followed by a spike bull, and then they just started funneling in there. I know there was at least 14, but there could have been 20, I don't know. But I just started pulling down on the first big cow and pulled a shot. They started running, and I didn't know if I was on the same cow or not. I pulled another shot, and then through my scope I caught one back up where I'd shot at the first one kicking. So I went back up, and sure enough I had one down, and I pulled another shot, and thinking it was 500 yards, but it turned out to be about 330, 350 yards, and she was down. I could tell she wasn't getting up. She actually laid her head down, so I thought she was expired, and I went back over to help roll Herman's off the mountain, and
you came up and helped me too.
Yep, went up and helped.
Mine was wedged in a.
Then I went back down and grabbed Bob and went after mine, and got up there, and she hadn't expired, so I had to ask Bob to bring me a gun, and I had to finish her off, and then by the time we got her cut up as best I could and hung in trees. It was dark. It was at that point we had to cut flashlights on and start walking out. Like Trigg said, it was a late night, and I got to tell you, everybody that was coming out of there was parched, looking for something to drink.
Yeah,
Poor Jim got to the truck with us, and we were tearing the truck apart looking for a bottle of water for him. He was parched. So Bob, being the kind-hearted soul he is, gave me the last little bit of water he had. Thank you, brother. As always, you came through for me. So thanks for helping me out.
Yep. Well, congratulations on your elk, buddy.
Thank you. All right.
Yeah. Okay, just ease on. Let me zoom in. Let me find him.
Okay, on second thought, we don't think these guys are even real. We're thinking this is some kind of sting operation that somebody set up to try to catch poachers and people shooting from their trucks and all that kind of stuff. You can see Pat's out there kind of walking towards them to get him to move. The back one has rotated his head back and forth, but that's it. Nothing, no other movement between them, so those can't be real. Did he cross?
Nope. Here he comes. All right, let me have it over here.
It's still recording.
Still recording. Okay. You can see the Rizzies right there. And then over here.
Cool.
Here he comes.
That first one, look at the big ears on that thing.
Yeah.
The one in the front.
Yeah. He doesn't want to lose track of his woman, does he? See you sticking your head out there. So this is where Pat was yesterday when I shot my elk. So Triggs walked down here with me and we're waiting on him to come with the horses. But I was sitting here and the elk were over in there in that timber, in the aspens you can see. I'll try to zoom in because the buzzards or the crows are on the carcass up there. Dark timber. Back it out a little more. So what they did is they ran off of this hill, got into that dark timber over there, and then they fed over, or not fed, ran over into these aspens here. And again, it may zoom this time. Right in there is where my elk carcass is. So that's the way it went down. It was fun.
He didn't see us.
No, here comes our cavalry. Here come the puppies. And the puppies are always out in front of the horses.
Look at him going down in there.
Yeah. And there's the man who's going to pack us out. There he is.
Wait, vote yet, boys.
Howdy, sir.
So here's the 6 horses that just came in to pack the meat out. So they're all going down the trail here. They're going to go get Garvey, the meat all the way down in Garvey, which is Steve and Dick's first. And they said they're going to have to make 2 trips with these 6 horses to pack them out of here. So when they get back to us, we'll start walking out. And we'll start walking out. And this is how Trigg spent the majority of our elk hunt trip. As you can see, he's found a comfortable place, a little bit of sun. He's able to lay back and pretty much, catch up on his beauty sleep. might be a little short on the amount of beauty sleep he needs, but he's trying hard. Here's my buddy waiting on the first load of meat to come back up the trail. So hopefully they'll be starting up through there before too long. They've been a little over an hour, and they had to go about another 1.25 miles to get to the first 2 elk. So hopefully they're getting those first 2, and then they'll be coming. So still waiting on the horses here, but Trig made a good point. So yesterday we had elk all over this mountain, and they came storming off. It's hard to see right there, but if you look down through here where they went off the mountain, just, I mean, full gallop down to the stream there, crossed, and then got into the dark timber. I'll pan up here so you can see it. Got into all this dark timber, these pines on this other side, and they had to get up above that into the aspens before I could shoot. But it worked out. It worked out. And then there, I'll zoom in. That's the big rock on the corner of UC, and that's the rock, if I understand correctly, that the elk came around on the day that Mark shot his, Saturday. The elk were coming around the corner of that rock, and they ended up down in it. So I think his was one shot and done. So some of us weren't that fortunate. So while we're waiting on the horses to come back here, what all have you seen this year besides obviously the elk you shot?
Well, I won't mention the things that I saw in our tent because
hang on one second.
I won't say anymore.
He's referring to Mark.
But outside the tent, when we were hunting, we saw some grouse. Of course, those things scare the daylights out of you when they take off. Lots of little gray squirrels. Saw quite a few mule deer. I could have shot 3 mule deer the first night of the hunt, a doe and some yearlings. I didn't see any turkeys while I was hunting, but I think, Pat, you said you did?
Yeah, I saw gang. Yeah.
Couple fake decoys. That's probably about it.
Yeah. Only mule deer buck we saw. We had to see him out of the truck.
Yep.
So
we got some video of him earlier. So.
Yep.
But hey, we came out here for elk, and
we saw some elk and got them. That's right. All right, later, dude.
Later.
So here we are. We're at the top of Long Canyon. As you can see, here is Weimer Ranches out of Nucla, Colorado. Nucla, I guess is how they say it. They brought in a couple trailers here of horses. Up there's the other trailer.
In Ukla.
In Ukla. And then here's
Oshag Hennessy.
And so